What is up, guys? I'm the 4K Shokunin. I post all of my photography work on my Instagram. Be sure to go check that out. I also post exclusive updates on what kind of videos I'm going to be making and stuff like that on my story, so be sure to check that out. But without further ado, let's get back into today's video. And today's video is going to be my first After Effects tutorial. So basically today we're going to be making a lower thirds type thing like this. Simple animations, just like that. Simple color block animations. Now, if you guys see, there's a lot of shape layers, a lot of things going on. Might look a little confusing right now, but I'm telling you guys, it's actually really simple. So let's go ahead and open a new composition. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is open up a new project. We're going to be calling this project Lower Thirds 2. These are my settings. Actually, I'm going to make the time frame a little bit shorter. Let's go with 15 seconds. I think 15 seconds is like a decent amount of time to edit in. You can always shorten it down when you render it out. Keep the background color whatever you want. It could be transparent, but just basically the background color. Black also works the best because it doesn't really subtract from any of the other colors that you're going to be using. Go ahead and click OK. And now that you have your settings over here, also one thing I want to mention is I will be using the Easy Tools. This is a really helpful tool set plugin that you guys can use. Definitely go check it out. Just go ahead on Google and type in Easy Tools download. It's free. It's fairly simple to download and it's really useful. So with that in mind, let's go ahead. Now all of these tools are accessible in Adobe After Effects. This is basically just a button map kind of thing that allows you to easily access these buttons, but you could basically achieve all of these same things in After Effects without this. But without further ado, let's go ahead and start. So the first thing you guys are gonna want to do is animate your square, or at least that's where I like to start. So let's go ahead and put in a new solid. Instead of it being a square, go ahead and click and hold on the rectangle maker tool, then click on rounded rectangle tool, and then remake that square. Go ahead and align it. Easy Tools, put that anchor point in the middle. Alright, now that you have your anchor point in the middle, see if you go to the rectangle 1, you can actually change the roundness of this square to make it a circle or a complete square, but the default value was 20, so we're going to go ahead and put it back to 20 as the default. And now what we're going to have this do is we're going to go to about 2 seconds. Actually, I'm going to move it back right about here. I want this to be a complete square, so I'm going to change the roundness to 0, and then I'm going to go all the way to the beginning and make the roundness a circle. So now you can see that it goes from a circle to a square, just like that. Cool. Okay, that looks very basic. It's literally just a circle turning into a square, but we can make that a little more interesting by highlighting both of the keyframes. You can either press F9 to make them easy ease, but I'm just gonna press this guy, and then go ahead and click on the graph editor. Make sure you have the time setting on your graph editor. Go ahead and click those, drag it all the way to the left, and then you should get a animation that looks kind of like this. Looks a little more, it kind of speeds up and slows down just like that, but it still doesn't really look that interesting. So we're gonna add some cool little more animations to make it kind of look a little more interesting. So go ahead and close that, click on it, put position in, P by pressing position. Now that you have your position, I want it to be right there, and then we go there. Okay, so now that we're at the point where it fully turns into a square, this is where I want the position of the square to be at this frame rate. So I'm going to go ahead and press the time button here to make it a keyframe, and I'm going to go back to the start, and I'm going to drag this down like so. There we go, and then I'm going to click on that, make them easy ease, graph editor, and give it a similar time curve, drag it to the left, make it have a speed up time curve and slow down. So then it's gonna look kind of like this. Now that's looking a little bit more clean. It kind of speeds up, and then as it goes up, it turns into a square. And we also want to make it, we're gonna get rid of the position, and we're gonna go to scale. So at this point, we're gonna want to have it kind of scale in as well. So at this 100% scale, we're going to make a keyframe, and then once again go back to the start and make the scale 0, just like so. And then once again make the keyframes. We're gonna easy ease them just in case. See, the whole thing about making these is just looking at what you like and kind of playing with it. But I'm gonna see how this looks when we make this a same time curve like that. See, the ball kind of zooms in and turns into this square just like that. Looks pretty cool, but it's just a square at the moment, so you can't really do anything with the square. So right when it turns into the full square, change the anchor type to the right, like so. Right here, when it turns into a square, I'm going to unlink the scale so that I can actually, from here to the 2-second mark, it is going to go like this, turn into that. So it should come in and kind of zoom in like that. But once again, we have to edit the time curve because it is kind of going a little bit too that. Let's see. That's actually perfect. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. It's all about kind of looking at it and seeing. You gotta know if you think it looks good. So now that we have that simple little animation, we're gonna go back out of the scale. We're gonna go back into position, and once it turns into that, about let's go with about halfway in, we're gonna want this to actually go to the side. I would say like so. Oh, that's giving it a bit of a curve though. I don't like that. Yeah, no, I do not like that. So I guess we're gonna have to put a new position keyframe and then go back to there and make the position like so. Now it should move at a, yeah, okay. See, now you have to add the keyframe because if not, it'll just make the whole path kind of blend together. So you have to add the keyframe to make a point that it can kind of go around. So now that it goes like that, we need to slow that down a little bit more. I feel like it's all happening way too fast. So we're going to try and add that keyframe animation to it. There we go. That's looking a little bit better. So it goes in, turns into a, yes, okay, that's good, that's good, that's good. So it goes in, turns into a line, zips across, and that is basically where our text is going to appear, just like that. So we might as well go ahead and put the text in right now. So in this case, I'm just going to put my name, just like that. Change the color from, I don't know, I guess go back to white. And I'm also going to change the font to something a little more interesting. You know what, I kind of like that. I kind of like that prototype font there. So put that right about there, like so. There, and it goes across like that. So then we just need to find a way how to make the text actually appear. The way you do that would be, to make a new shape layer, except not a rounded one, a rectangular shape layer like so. And we're basically going to put it around. We're going to start it here, and we're just going to, not a mask, we do not want a mask. We simply want a square. Why did that make a mask? We're going to do like this across the entire thing like that. Put the shape layer underneath that, make it alpha matte to that. There we go. And then I'm actually going to make that there so that we could scale this side like that. So this goes back here. Put a keyframe in. We go to that, and then we extend it out. Correct? Although it's also not easy eased, so go ahead, easy ease them and give it a similar curve to what the top has so that it goes across like so. It's moving a little bit. Let's see how that looks. That actually looks pretty good. Okay, so now that we have the reveal of the text, now we're going to find a way to put the secondary text line underneath it. So we're going to go ahead and put the secondary line of text underneath it, and it's going to be, say, your Instagram. So I'll just put mine at 4K Shokunin -AV. Alright, now this is a lot bigger than I want it to be for a kind of subtext. So we're going to go ahead and change the font to something a little bit more reasonable for a subtext. So honestly, let's go with maybe Myriad Pro. Yeah, that actually looks really nice. I'm going to make the lettering a little bit more condensed. You could do that with this slider right here, the V and the A underneath each other. And I'm also going to change the text size just by a little bit, make it look a little bit more in place. And then we're actually going to have it right there, and I want the anchor point to be in the middle. So we're going to zoom in here, and the question here is, do I want it to be on the right or the left? That actually might work. That actually might work for sure. So we're going to go ahead like this. So it goes in, turns into a line, zooms across. And then from here, I want to add a pen tool. We're going to go with the pen tool. And we're going to add a stroke from here. Now we're going to make it go. Oh, this is a mask. This is a mask again. Make sure you always unclick your text when you're making these shapes and stuff, because it will turn into a mask if you don't. So we're going to go ahead and put the mask line right here. And we're going to put the other mask line right about here. And then the other mask line right about here. Just like that. So definitely you're going to have to go to the stroke and turn the stroke to solid color, and then take the fill off. Oh, my bad. Make sure the fill is off. There you go. So now you're left with this kind of line that's going to be going across your text like so. But it's just kind of sitting there right now. So we're going to have to give it an animation. So this goes in, slides across, gives us that. And then the shape layer 3 here, we're going to animate this by going to the contents, going to shape one. It's already a path, so go ahead and add right here. Go ahead and add trim paths. So then go to trim paths 1 right here, and we want it to, so right when it goes here, right when it connects at the very end of that animated keyframe, we're going to animate the so let's see, where's the end percent is right here. Okay, so perfect. Yeah, so that's at 100%. We're gonna go about here. We're gonna put a keyframe for the end, and then we're gonna go back over to 2 and make it a 0. So now it should. Perfect. Okay, we're gonna easy ease these keyframes as well. Go ahead and do the exact same keyframe kind of bend that you always been doing, because it just gives it a really clean look. It's like the secret weapon for a good keyframe animation for a lower third. So we look here, here, here. It's going a little bit too fast for my liking, so let's move it down a little bit. See how that looks. That's perfect. That's perfect. I love the way that looks. Amazing. And then from here, we could actually put in, when I'm looking at this and I'm thinking of a way to get this to be shown, I'm thinking we could have another kind of box bar that comes from here and wipes across there. So I'll show you guys what I mean. So we're going to start with the box, of course, and we're going to start it from about here, and we're going to put it into about here, just like that. We do not want a stroke on this box. Actually, I don't know, do we? I mean, what would it look like if we just... Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, see, that's... Yeah, no. No stroke. Just a fill. Solid color fill. There we go. Make the anchor point. Of course, I gotta go in here. Click on this tool to change the anchor point, just like that. Make sure you always drag it to one of the edge points. So now we are able to just drag it across. Perfect. But I also do want this scale to be unlinked, and this needs to start at 0. There we go. Okay, good. So it's at 0 right here. And once the animation here ends, we're basically going to have a box or line zoom across here and kind of reveal this. So I'm thinking we put the animation in for this scale just like that, and then we move about, let's go with halfway in, and the scale we're going to have go all the way across. Oh, Jesus Christ. We're gonna have the scale go all the way across like so until it reaches the end, just like that. Okay, well, we're also gonna want to put the shape layer, also change the color of the text. Now we've got it all figured out. So this is going to go across like so, just like that. We're also going to want to move it underneath that, so that it kind of goes like. Now once again, we're also going to want to put the easy ease keyframes on it, just like that. Make the exact same curve that you've always been doing, just like that. I feel like we're going to want to extend it a small bit. give it a bit more. There we go. Maybe even it out. That looks nice. That looks perfect. Alright, so let's take a look at this from a distance. That looks perfect. That looks honestly perfect. But just because it's a black background, doesn't mean that that text isn't visible. See, it's still there. So we're gonna have to just use the same box method to make that black text appear as well. So we're gonna go ahead and close this, and we're going to add another box, and this box is going to be the text kind of alpha layer. So honestly, doesn't matter how big it is. I'm just gonna move the anchor point once again to the edge, move it about over here, and then just extend it out across the whole thing. All right, and now that we have that, we're gonna make it underneath that, underneath the text layer, change the alpha matte to that. Now because this is a white box, I think that's why it's not showing up right now. So we're gonna have to change that to black. Yeah, perfect. Or anything, honestly, you could put it anything, but I'm gonna keep it as black. So now that we have it like so, we're going to need to animate this. So it's going to start from 0, which is going to be right here. So get rid of the fill, and then we're also going to go and then close that, go to the transform tab, unlink the scale, and then after you unlink the scale, go ahead and drag this all the way to the beginning of where the line starts when it goes down. Add a keyframe with the scale. Go ahead where the box fully reveals itself, which would be about here, and just once again make sure the anchor point is on the side here, and then just extend it out over here, and then it should reveal itself. It doesn't reveal itself quite the same, so we're gonna scale, easy ease, keyframes, go ahead, circle those, drag them in to even it out if you want. I just want to see how it looks. Perfect right there. So now we're gonna watch the whole thing and see what it looks like. Good stuff. So that's basically our lower third right there. And now if you're wondering how to reverse this, is we're gonna see how long this is gonna last for us to be able to read this. So reading. In about 8 seconds, I'm gonna start to close all of the animations. So we're gonna start with the line up here, open up the keyframes, control copy, control paste, right click on it, keyframe assistance, time reverse, and then just go ahead and do that with all of the animations. So here, control copy, control paste, keyframe assistance, time reverse, down, shape layer 4, control copy, control paste, keyframe assistance, time reverse, and basically just go down all of these boxes, control copy, paste, and just keyframe assistance, reverse them, every single one of them, including the main box. Right here, open up the contents and rectangle 1, rectangle path 1 here. Okay, circle them all, control copy, control paste, keyframe assistance, time reverse. Oh, what the hell happened there? Okay, we're gonna undo that. Okay, so we're gonna actually have to do this one a little bit more particularly. So position, the position one is going to have to go control copy paste, and then so it goes back and down. Okay, so then we also want to have the roundness animations going as well. These ones are definitely going to have to be copy paste during when it is falling down. So right here, move it ahead right there. Keyframe assistance reverse. Okay, so that changes the roundness. All right, and then we also need the scale ones here. The scale, go ahead, copy and paste them, and keyframe assistance time reverse them, and go ahead and have them set right there. That's perfect. All right. Now I want the line to leave before any of the main pieces. So we're going to go ahead, go back up to the line, open up those keyframes, and I'm actually going to have, now this is not going to be the line first, it's going to be this shape layer. So we're going to have this start at about 7 seconds. So we're going to move it down to 7 seconds so that this goes back down. Yep, like that. And the shape layer as well needs to be moved down like so. Yeah, see, the line can't really be just staying there. It's got to be leaving before as well. So go back to that keyframe, open up the line keyframe again, and just move it down to where you shifted those as well. Actually, I kind of want it starting right about here. That way it has a kind of deconstruction kind of effect. So it goes in. You can read it, and then it still doesn't have enough time. Maybe it's just got to be a little bit quicker. Let's go with right about here. And I want that one to be out a little bit longer. I don't know how we're gonna make that work. Honestly, that works. That kind of works. I like the way that looks. That's honestly perfect. cool. There's a couple other things that I do want to add to it though. For say, if we go to the main box, we can go ahead and duplicate it. So let's go to the beginning. Let's duplicate this layer like so. Let's move it, actually it's good up there. Now that we have it there, we can simply move this entire clip a bit to the left. It can't be that much. Yeah, but it's not going to be white. That's the thing. Contents, rectangle 1, fill 1. We're gonna go ahead and make this one say like red. There we go. So if you guys like the way that looks, you guys can honestly keep it in there. But I don't like red at all. I like a nice blue color. Good stuff. Perfect. And that is basically how you make a lower thirds in After Effects.